With the launch of the heavy metal season this week, we saw that the Metalfest collaboration would come back. And well, it's already here. Next week will begin a weeks-long Metalfest event with 2 new bands and new and old tanks being available to purchase again. Next week on the 30th of July, they'll start off the event with Act 1 and their 2 new bands added to the Metalfest roster, Motorhead and Rob Zombie. This of course means there's new tanks alongside these new bands. Starting with Motorhead, we have the Tier 10 Premium Heavy Tank Thunder Chief Object 452K. This is a skin version of the tank, and not just the tank with a skin, by the way, which was common with all the other Metalfest tanks, unfortunately, and even the other new one. This tank does pack a punch, with its 130mm dealing 560 alpha damage. It'll deal that damage with a standard AP round that has 260mm of penetration and reaches 1000 shell speed. If you need more pen, you can tap A to load a heat round with 320mm of penetration and 950 shell speed, slightly lower than the AP shell speed. The HE on this tank has 700 alpha, but only 65mm of pen, which will struggle even against the Waffle nowadays, annoyingly enough. But it is a nice chunk of damage against artillery and light armored vehicles. The reload on this tank was nerfed from PC by 0.5 seconds at a base 14.5 seconds, but that's to be expected with most tanks taken from PC, giving this tank a base DPM value of 2318, which is better than the likes of the Panzer VII and French 130mm, but 300 less than the Chilean for a quick comparison. For the rest of its gun statistics, it has a 2.5 second aim time and a 0.38 base accuracy, which isn't bad, and it does get 7 degrees of gun depression, which is good for a Russian heavy, and even matches the 780. This thing going hull down and utilizing gun depression will be a bit scarier than the 780 though, as this thing's armor looks to be impenetrable in that scenario. Luckily, it is limited to 40 km an hour with a 16 power to weight ratio, and even lacks the typical 400 meters base view range of most tier 10 heavies, with only having 390 meters. Overall though, this thing to me looks quite menacing and even might make the 780 obsolete if it wasn't already. To me, it looks like a mix of all the best things of a 780 and an IS-7. But we'll truly see how good it is in-game come next week. Of course, this being the Motorhead tank, it also releases alongside the Lemmy 3D Commander that actually uses an AI voice of Lemmy created from old archive audio of Lemmy, from recordings to interviews, to recreate his voice for a special voiceover in the game.
Only way to feel the noise is when it's good and loud. Let's rock and roll.
Feel how you will about that, but that's not the only commander. There's also a Warpig 3D Commander as well for the Motorhead lineup, and some 2D commanders sprinkled in there too. On top of the new tank and commanders, there's also a Motorhead themed skin for the FV-107 Scimitar in Cold War as well for 2550 gold. All of this is just for Motorhead and is available Tuesday. The next band added is Rob Zombie, and you can expect the same kind of treatment for them too, starting with their new tank, an Era 3 Premium Medium tank for the Independent Alliance, the Dragula T55 AGM. This tank comes with a 50% silver bonus, 3600 HP, 70 km an hour top speed with a 22.83 power to weight ratio, only 5 degrees of gun depression for its 550 Alpha 125mm gun that is the highest caliber on a medium in Era 3 so far, has 606 standard APFSDS pen for 1700 shell speed, and 697 premium APFSDS pen for also 1700 shell speed. It reloads in 7.6 seconds for a base DPM value of 4340 and only holds 42 rounds. It has 0.25 base accuracy and an aim time of 2 seconds, as well as 560 view range. No clue again whether this tank's stats are any good, but it looks alright, and they made sure to show off its layered ERA armor in the stream, and you can see the layers here in this image. So it might have some really good armor to rival even heavies in the era. But I don't play Cold War, so I don't know. Alongside the tank is of course the Rob Zombie 3D Commander that does not have special VO unfortunately, but is said to feature a look chosen by the man himself. As for the theme skin, it's the M5355. Yeah. An artillery piece, yuck. Funnily enough, the skin isn't on sale like the FV-107's is, and will cost the full 3000 gold. Sorry RD players. On top of all this content, there is of course new emblems and inscriptions for each band as well. So that's the new bands and their content coming this Tuesday, but of course there's more. There's a whole personal and community challenge to partake in. With a personal challenge, you actually have to choose a band to represent, and depending on what you choose, your rewards are different. If you choose Motorhead, you'll get Motorhead themed cosmetics and the Huntsman Centurion at the end of your challenge. If you choose Rob Zombie, you'll get Rob Zombie themed cosmetics and the HMH AMX Model 58 at the end of your personal challenge. By the way, if you have both of these tanks, the Huntsman gives more silver back as a duplicate. Now for the community challenge, they unlock discounts for the new premiums, something we've seen before. And like before, depending on which side you choose on your personal challenge determines what discounts you'll get from the community challenge. However, this time around, you do get a discount on both of the new tanks. So, if you choose Motorhead, at stage 2 of the community challenge, you get a 15% discount on the Thunder Chief. At stage 4, you'll get an increased discount on the Thunder Chief to 30%, but also a 15% discount on the Dragula. And at stage 6, you'll get the full 50% discount on the Thunder Chief and a 30% discount on the Dragula. Now, if you choose Rob Zombie, the bigger discount will focus on the Rob Zombie tank. That means no matter what you choose, you can wait for a 30% discount on both tanks. With Motorhead's tank being more expensive, it makes the most sense to choose Motorhead if you're going for both tanks. It will roughly save you 2,000 gold. Now onto how to earn points for these ops. The basic way to earn points are to do 1500 or more damage in any number of battles for 1 point, and place in the top 6 XP earners for your team for another point. If you place in the top 3 XP earners while using a Metalfest 3D Commander, you'll earn another point. There are bonus ways to make points too in a more niche way, like doing 250 fire damage for a single point, sitting in a smoke screen for 15 seconds for another point, which is pretty lame if you ask me, destroying an enemy by ramming and surviving yourself for another point. Man, Cold War will sound fun, won't it? And getting exactly 666 of any stat in the game for another point. That one's just luck based. There's also a platoon specific point for dealing 3500 damage as a platoon and any of the Metalfest tanks for another point as well. Lastly though, there's a point that comes with drops of Commander XP, free XP, silver, or an emblem as well for earning 1000 XP in any battle with any of the Metalfest tanks. With all the ways to earn points, you'll surely get the personal challenge done quickly, as you only need 200 points to complete that. All of this is of course available this Tuesday, the 30th, alongside with even a free starter pack akin to that of a seasonal starter pack for you to pick up in the store for some premium time and other goodies. But Metalfest runs for multiple weeks and the rest of the bands come back to the store later on, with Iron Maiden coming back the following week of August 6th and both Sabaton and Megadeth coming on August 13th. So if there's any tanks you missed out with those bands, you will have to wait a week or two to be able to purchase them. With the event ending August 19th as well, that gives you only 1 week for the Sabaton and Megadeth bands, so keep that in mind. But there you have it. Metalfest makes its return to World of Tanks Modern Armor on the 30th with 2 new bands, new tanks, returning bands and tanks, and even a personal and community challenge to work towards. I hope to see you out there tanking. Thanks for watching, and take care.